please?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. Please just type in my screen, please. All right. All right. Okay. Let's write on. Like I earlier said in the group, today's session is going to be very, very interactive. So we're ready to say something, we're ready to tell somebody something. And one other thing we have to know is in this generation, being quiet is not allowed, because if you're quiet, definitely you're ready to struggle. If you're quiet means you don't need help, because there are things that it will never come to you if you keep quiet. So in a session like this, it's always good to be open-minded, communicate, get to know people, network with them, because even if you don't need them today, you might need them tomorrow. For those who know Dr. Jobert, he will always say, the opportunities, the money you're looking for, it is in somebody's back. So if you cannot talk, nobody will ever know you need help. So just be ready to get connected with people and speak up. Yeah, it's allowed. There is no wrong answer. And there's no one that is going to persecute you because you answered something wrongly. So just feel free. It's a session where everyone is supposed to learn something from each other. All right, so I will start the session by asking just one question, and I just need just two answers from two people. All right. Okay, so what if you found yourself in a situation where you helped someone recover from a life-threatening condition? How are you going to feel? Just indicate with the reaction, and I'll get you to speak.
Please repeat again.
If you find yourself in a situation where you help someone recover from a life-threatening condition, how are you going to feel? If you could help someone recover from a life-threatening condition. Anyone? All right. Sydney, go on.
I will be so happy because I will feel that I have done something for myself. I will feel that I will feel more inspired to do more because I will be happy. And the happiness will not just come only from me. Everyone else around us is going to be happy because I saved somebody. I saved somebody's life. I made the person to see reasons to move on, to fight forward, and to be strong. Yeah, to be strong. I think so.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. One more hand. Asma, please go on.
Actually, I was just clapping for the previous participant. It wasn't raising my hand, but I don't mind like sharing my yeah, my answer with you. I would actually be just satisfied that I did my job like perfectly. So I had part of saving life of somebody. Yeah, I would feel joy and satisfaction. Satisfaction, yeah. And thank you for the question.
Oh, thank you so much for answering. That was a good answer too. All right. So we can see it brings a level of satisfaction. That is to say that you feel happy from within. So I'm saying so because I would like to introduce the session today, beginning with a brief history of modern nursing from the time of Florence Nightingale. So if you look at the answers that we just gave, you will see that it is centered around three things. We have love, we have compassion, and we have care. And if you ask me to define nursing in three words, I will talk about love, I will talk about compassion, I will talk about care. There is nothing you can do within the nursing profession without including those three things. So one other question I would like to ask before we write on is that for those that are still getting into the profession, it might be a little bit difficult, but if you're already in the profession, is there anyone you admire so much, like you look up to? Just raise your hand and just let me know the person. Someone you admire most, be it in the field of the healthcare industry or maybe out of it, it's fine. Anyone you admire so much, like you really look up to. Courage, go on, please. Courage, please unmute yourself and go on.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
All right. Okay, I admire Florence Nightingale a lot. While I was trying to read some nursing textbooks, they talked about Florence Nightingale. I was like, wow. So the mother of nursing is actually Florence Nightingale. And I liked what she did. So I look up to be like her.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well done. Who else, please?
Thank you.
Who else? It must not be someone in the nursing profession, like someone you really admire, maybe because of the way they are advancing their career, the way they are advancing in business, anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone in the nursing field. Anyone else?
I just sent a text message, but it seems as you did not see it. Okay, I'm just. I hope. Please, are you forgetting me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on.
Okay, I'm just like entering into the medicine field. So the person I appreciate a lot is Doctor uh, Dubro. That is a surgical operation. The reason why I appreciate them is because they act in such a way that it's going to help people. Because I don't know if some people watch your program, but you see some people who come that they've attained their limit, but they will see one more. So what I like with them is that they advise them not to do so. So the advice they give it what motivates me, and then I just love it. Oh, thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you for answering. So the reason why I asked this question is we all have aspirations. We all have something we are aiming for. We all have a goal that we've set for ourselves, and we are trying as much as we can to achieve those goals. So admiring somebody shows that actually there is something in that person that you see that it's really outstanding. And one other thing we have to know is for you to be able to admire something in somebody, or somebody to be able to have that outstanding character, he or she must have done something that has kept he or she in that position. For example, we can talk about, I'll just limit it to like paying the price. He or she has done something extra. He or she has done something out of being average to be able to be there. So what I'm trying to say is, in as much as you admire that person, also try as much as possible to identify those key parts in his or her life that has made that person that way. Definitely, he or she has paid a price that if you want to become like that person, you have to be ready to pay the price. And one other thing when it comes to paying the price is it begins with our mindset. It begins with the way we think. If you think you're going to remain average, you will remain average. If you think you're going to go places, you will go places. And that's just how it is. And that is how it works. Because definitely, if you don't cultivate the right mindset towards everything, it will be difficult for you to even take up steps that will be able to take you there. Definitely, if you don't have the growth mindset and you don't identify That is, if you don't believe in yourself, like I can do this, I can do that, or you just be like, okay, it's average, I'm just going to stay on this level, you will definitely stay there. So I'm just trying to introduce this session and include this because in everything we are doing, no matter what we say here in this session, if you do not have that positive mindset, if you do not believe in yourself as a person to say, okay, if this is what I want, therefore I need to first of all believe in myself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody is going to believe in you. That's just it. So it begins with you cultivating the right mindset. Secondly, believing in yourself and taking steps day after day in order to meet your goal. All right, so with Florence Nightingale, we can see she was called the world's first nurse tourist. And because of her help during the Crimean War, she actually helped to take care of injured soldiers. At that time, nursing was like for the less privileged, for women, for the poor families. It had no, that is, it was a nothing profession. Like nobody looked at it as something good. And also she came in and she established that health was directly linked to environmental factors like fresh air, clean water, efficient drainage, and direct sunlight. So from the time of Florence Nightingale up to today, there have been a continuous improvement in the profession up to today where we see it with a lot of diverse opportunities. And one other thing, it's because of the stereotype that we still have about this profession. It's even difficult, even for those that are practicing already, they do not know that there are opportunities embodied in this profession that one could exploit. Because, for example, if you ask an average nursing student that, okay, what are your plans? What plans do you have after this level? They will be like, okay, I'm just going to look for a job, maybe an average job. Maybe if you're being paid, let me say in Cameroon, you could say I could find a job for 60,000, 75,000, 100,000, and that's fine. And for somebody, that's very okay. Another person will tell you, I want to, okay, I would open a roadside pharmacy and that's it. I'm not saying any of that is wrong. It's not wrong. It's all right. It depends on your aspirations, but I want us to see the possibilities in striving above the normal, in striving above what we think is okay. We can still start from somewhere actually, but we should have that desire to grow and get to improve on daily basis. So we can see there have been a continuous evolution, and with the coming of technology, it makes the profession much more interesting in the sense that because of how things are evolving, patient care is now mostly very much centered, and the nurses also can have that genuine satisfaction because you can see that actually I am growing in this profession. Because, for example, imagine waking up every morning and doing the same routine over and over and not being able to get promoted or change something or do this or that. You will get bored and you just feel like same old things every day. So just be like, we are learning same old things every day. So be it as a nursing student or someone that is practicing, or you who is still aspiring to pursue a career in nursing, first of all, you don't start planning when you are already in the profession. You don't wait until you start, or maybe for those that are still students, you don't wait until you finish before you start having a plan to say this or that. It has to be, if you want to strive above, like if you want to be someone that somebody can even look up to and say, no, this person inspired me, you have to be ready to take up daily steps that will push you forward. It doesn't matter how small it is, but you have to take consistent steps every blessed day. No matter how much you think it's the journey is long, yeah, but it depends on your ability to strive, depends on your ability to take up the task and start doing something. So one other thing we have to consider with this is continuous self-assessment. Continuous self-assessment will help in the sense that I know where I am now. I know where I am when it comes to this profession. I know I am still a novice in this. And therefore, each passing day, I need to assess myself. Where am I currently? What do I want to be? Am I getting the right knowledge that I require to get? Am I connecting to the right people? And one other thing is the social media has made it very, very simple and it's just straight to the point, in which you can even connect with people you don't even know. You can even, that is, you can learn from someone that you've never ever met. It's no longer the traditional way where it's difficult for you to get to this person. There are a lot of material out there. But one thing, it needs commitment, it needs focus. If you're not focused, if you're not committed, you will not ever, in short, you will always struggle, because the information is there, but only your commitment and your consistency will push you to be able to get it. So one other thing we have to know is we have to have the mindset of growing out of our comfort zones. Because I'm saying so because, like, for example, maybe if you live in Bamenda, I'm saying so because most of the participants are Cameroonians. Just permit me, we can just use Cameroon as an example. If you grow if you're from Cameroon, or maybe you were born in Bamenda, you school in Bamenda, like I did, and maybe you want to work in Bamenda. So just imagine, it's like you're still staying in your comfort zone. And definitely there is no growth that will ever happen in your comfort zone. Because at times you ask yourself, okay, if I'm stepping out of Bamenda, where do I live? Where do I do this? Those inconveniences, those are the things that are going to make you grow. If you keep saying, okay, I will find a job just close to my house, I will do this, I will do that, definitely you are not going to grow. Don't get me wrong, you could start there, but definitely have the mindset that you have to go out of that place. Because, for example, I, for one, when I first of all had my diploma, I first of all did for those who know Bambili, I did my voluntary service at the Bambili Medicalized Health Center. It was quite close to my place. It was just a walk to my place. But I was doing it there, but I didn't just limit myself and focus like, this is where I'm going to work. I was just doing voluntary services because I knew it's good to get, the practical part of the stuff that you like, be able to link what you've learned and the real life situations. So it's okay to do that, but always try as much as possible to think out of your comfort zone, think out of Bamenda, think out of think out of your village, think out of Bamenda, think out of your region, think out of even your country. It's possible. That's why I said it depends on how you think about it. When you think about it and you believe in yourself and you start taking some steps, definitely you will reach there. So if we move forward, the first subtopic we'll be talking about is nursing and technology. There is a lot of improvement, like generally with every other thing, there is a lot of improvement when it comes to technology. In this dispensation, if you're unable to adjust and be very adaptive, you're going to struggle in all fields, not just in the nursing profession. Technology is trying to, and one thing with the technology is that it is coming to help make things more easy for everybody. It's not like it's coming to replace you. That's one other thing we fail to understand, because, for example, when you talk about the robotics that help in nursing aids, sometimes some people feel like maybe it's coming to replace you as a nurse. No, it's not coming to replace you as the healthcare professional. It is coming to help so that the patient can have the highest quality of care, and you, at the end of the day, you will feel satisfied doing your job without necessarily breaking down. So we can see that there is continuous improvement in that. And one of the things that has really changed from the time of COVID is telehealth. With this one, you can consult like a nurse, you can consult a patient from home. You don't necessarily have to meet the patient. The patient is not supposed to come to the hospital and meet you there. You can have a video chat with the patient, and maybe, unless it's something very, very pertinent, that the patient will definitely have to come to the clinic or to the hospital. So with this already see, just with this aspect, you already see that like another part of an opportunity that you could pursue. There are people that they just focus in working like this. They don't work in the clinical setting, but they are nurses. So as we go forward, you will the more we exploit other technologies that are incorporated in the nursing profession, that is where you start seeing the possibilities of practicing out of the clinical setting. Because I know there are people that will really want to practice out of the clinical setting, but you are not quite sure if it's possible. So just know that from now, if you follow this session consistently, you will see that it is possible to even practice out of the clinical setting. All right. Then we also have wearable devices. These devices include smart watches, like you can monitor your blood pressure, your pulse rate with the smart watches that you wear. The patient can have a smart watch, and that one, the patient is able to know the blood pressure, able to know the pulse rate and all of that. And even you as a nurse, you can have a mobile device, be it a tablet, where you just input whatever you do on the patient. So you see, it is much more easier than, for example, when we used to do our internship, when you do maybe when you administer a medication, or when you do your rounds, you come back, you always go with papers and you're everywhere just writing this, writing that. When you come back, you have to refill it in the patient's file. So you can see that all of that is time consuming. Although we know the technology has not really reached an extent where it goes to every place, but definitely in the next couple of years, things will completely change. So as a nurse, as a student nurse, as someone that is aspiring to join the nursing profession, you have to be very, very flexible. You have to be very, very flexible and well informed. Be ready to learn new things. The old stuff, the old knowledge you used to have, things have changed, because even if you studied 5 years ago, and now the person that is studying today will tell you there are things that have changed. So you have to have that flexible mindset. You have to be adaptive. Like, if this is coming up, be ready to learn. If this is changing, be ready to give out, to get loose of the old stuff and learn new things. Because there is one other thing. We can see that there is always a demand for nurses. I've done this analysis before. There's always a demand for nurses. And in the same way, there is always like lots of nurses that are not working. So if you have this on a scale, you ask yourself, what is happening? Why is it that we have many trained nurses, especially back home, but when you go out there, there are still people that need help, they need care, but they don't have the nurses, but they are trained nurses. That is to show that it's not just about your certificate, you need other skills in order to make yourself outstanding. So that, for example, if two people are applying for a job and you are also applying for the job, there should be something about you that makes you outstanding. There should be something about you that your employer will definitely hire you rather than the other person. Because if you bring maybe your certificate, you might come with, maybe you might have just a diploma, and there is another person with a degree or another person with a master's. If it was just based on the certificate, definitely you would think the person with the master's would be employed. But somebody with a diploma with other skills would definitely be employed before maybe you with a master's. So it's all about being able to be flexible and able to learn new things. And another issue is the smart beds. With a smart bed, you can monitor vital signs. You can take the patient's weight. You can take the patient's blood pressure. You see, it's very, very easy now. So for example, what if you meet a smart bed and you're unable to use the smart bed? You can see that at that point in time, you are the problem and not the bed. And you're going to struggle during your shift because it will just be like a burden to you. You have the equipment, but you're unable to use it. So you don't have to wait until you find yourself in a place where you have to learn at that time. For example, that's why I said the plans you could make in order to get better could just include having like a monthly, a weekly, or a daily plan. Your monthly plan, maybe as a student, should be you have to learn something out of the classroom. It's very easy. We have YouTube pages where you could learn. That is, you could learn absolutely amazing things without necessarily having them in your classroom. And one other thing is the electronic health record. This one now is, you don't longer have to write over and over, write this and maybe misplace some of the information, or maybe you can't find this paper, I can't find this information about this patient, but it can be recorded in a way that even if the patient is admitted to another health institution, you can go through the patient's electronic health record and you'll be able to know the patient's health condition at that point in time. So you can see that with that, it makes it more flexible, it makes it more easier, so that when the patient comes before you, you already know that this patient is suffering from this, or this patient has had this before, and the management will be more focused. One other thing is the medication notification. Like for the nurse, you could be walking around where you have the application with you, where you just check the like, for example, if a patient has a medication at this time, you will have the notification. You will not necessarily have to go back to the file and go check when do you have medication this time, and you write it down and all of that. So we see that all of this makes it more easier, and it makes the profession much more interesting. Hope we all are following. If you're following, just type in the chat body yes. So it's making it more beautiful. It makes it more exciting because new things, I think everybody's excited when you're able to come across new things and not same old stuff every day. It makes it more flexible and makes it more fulfilling. All right. Okay. So the next part of it is how to strive above average. How to strive above average. I believe no one here is ready to remain average. We all desire to go places. We all desire to be the best. But now that it is our desire, how can you strive above average like a nurse, a nursing student, or someone that is aspiring to get into the nursing profession? Number one, you have to excel academically. There is a lot of controversy when it comes to excelling academically, in the sense that people have often argued this fact that because you perform well in class, it doesn't mean you will be first in life. But if you look at it from my own point of view, and which actually works, performing academically does not mean you rule out the other things that have to do with you. What I mean is, perform when it comes to you studying and passing your exams, study well and have it to your fingertips. Don't just, like, for example, don't just study when you have to write an exam. There is always a difference between when you see a healthcare professional that is practicing where he or she has that background knowledge. He or she practices different from someone that is just working like a robot. There is always a clear difference. You can never argue those facts. There is always a clear difference, especially with someone that has mastered his or her anatomy and physiology. That is one of the key things that, as a nurse, you have to have it to your fingertips. When you work with that background knowledge, especially anatomy and physiology, there is always a difference. You are always outstanding. There is no way you can be average, because at that point in time, you are not just offering care like a robot. You are offering care with background knowledge. You have a rationale for doing that. So this is like not just studying because you want to pass the exam, but you're studying because you want to know what it is there. Once you study well because you want to know, definitely you will know something and you will still pass your exam. So let us desire to excel well when it comes to your studies. Excel well, because one of the criteria that you will use maybe for the position you're aspiring to have, although they will not just focus on how you perform, but that one will definitely be one of the criteria. So it's okay to have a very good GPA. It's very okay. Strive to do it like no other person. Don't just have the notion of like, I just studied to pass my exams, or maybe when it's exam time, I just cram these things and then I go and deliver. It's for your own good. Because at the end of the day, when you go out there, you are the one facing the patient. You are the one in the field. At that time, your teacher is not there, your lecturer is not there. It is you that is facing the patient. It is you, it is your career you're striving to become the best in. It is your career. And definitely when you want to hide around the corridors of just being average, it's going to be very difficult for you, because while you're studying to pass, you also study to keep the knowledge for yourself. And secondly, actively engage during clinical rotation. Hello, everyone. Actively engage during clinical rotation. It is always like, when it's maybe clinical rotation, we call it internship. For those that don't really understand, we call it internship. I think people always feel like that is a time where you just relax and it's not school time. I will assure you, this is a time for you to grab as much as you can. This is a time where you have to learn as much as you can. Because no matter how you see it is a 1 month, 2 months, 3 months for some schools, you feel like maybe those 3 months are not valuable. They are very, very valuable. The more you try to do hand-on task, the more you become better. But if you keep standing behind and just watching, you can never be very, very perfect when you learn by watching. When you learn by doing, it becomes more different and it's easy for you to adapt. So don't just think like, maybe this is my clinical rotation time, I could relax, I'm not studying. It is a time for you to be able to apply what you studied. It's a time for you to be able to get to know other students. Because one other thing is, when we go out for I used to experience this a lot, and I think Sidonie can agree with that, and any other person. When we go out for like clinical rotation, it's almost like, instead of people focusing on what you went there to do, you start comparing between your school, comparing between this and that. And at the end of the day, you argue over stuff that do not really matter, whereas you are there to learn. And definitely, one thing is that if I find it that, okay, you're taught differently, and I think that the knowledge you have is more than what I have, I can always walk up to you for you to teach me. Be humble enough to learn from people. It could be your fellow colleague. It could be a student from another institution. It could be maybe the nurse or the people that are practicing that hospital. Be humble enough to ask questions. If you keep quiet, you will struggle. Be humble enough to learn from people. Don't always find it like a fault when someone tries to tell you, this thing you did, you could have done it this way. Let's not nurture that mind of always comparing or always trying to show that we know this all. If you find yourself in a situation where you're unable to do this, it's okay to ask. When you are working, you work like it's a team. So definitely, I can help you with this and you help me with that. So let's take the clinical rotation very, very serious. Very, very serious. And the next thing is networking and relationships. Relationship now is a currency. Believe me or not, it is a currency. It is a currency. Networking with people and creating valuable relationships is a currency in this dispensation. It's a currency. It's something you cannot do with that. If you notice from day one, when I started sending messages in the group chat, I kept on insisting, network with people, create valuable relationships. There are relationships that will take you to places. There are people that would definitely not even have to look for a job because they have an established relationship with somebody. Yeah, you won't even have to struggle because you have that relationship with somebody. When you network with people, not just people within your own geographical location, people out, it's okay for you to approach this person and say, okay, I've seen your work, I really like what you do, please, can we connect? It's very okay. In this generation, it is very okay, because there are opportunities that person can come across and will be able to tell you, okay, I found this here, I found that here, are you interested? It's very important. Relationships this day is a very important currency. It's a very important currency. There are things that you will not be able to achieve with your certificate. There are things that you'll be able to achieve just because of the people that you have in your circle. So this comes like a challenge today. Who is in your personal, that is your immediate circle? Are there people that are adding value, or are there people that you just do usual things? You have to challenge yourself today. Start creating those relationships. It can even be like in this group, after the meeting of today, you can PV people. Hello, I am this, I am that. Can we connect? Just keep the connection, just keep it going. The thing is, one thing is, don't approach somebody's inbox and you start saying hello and you go and wait for the person to come back and say hi. No, be very constructive when you approach people, especially when you want to create valuable relationships. Be very constructive. Hello, I am Kendria. I do this, I do that. Please, can we connect? It's very straight to the point. Don't go and say hello and you wait the person to come back and say hello. No. You don't do that. You have to be very professional when you approach people, because the way you approach people will definitely determine how well you guys are going to collaborate. All right. And one other thing we can use to network and create valuable relationship is the media. The media. All right. Okay. I'll just ask this question. If you want to answer, it's fine. Just drop in the chat box. What is your Facebook name? Just tell me your Facebook name. For those that have It's Pretty, you can still type it. If you have It's Pretty, it's Label, just type it. Yeah, Courage, I can see. Is it Banter Courage? Good. Who else, please? Mafo Brenda, that's it. Who else? Yinsha Stanley. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it well. Wow, that is beautiful. All right. The reason why I'm asking this question is just imagine I come to your Facebook page and I see It's Pretty, it's Label, it's maybe whatever. And you come and you drop me a message inbox. Do you think I'll ever reply that message with It's Pretty, it's Label? Definitely just your name will tell me you're not serious. Because your social media platforms those are places where you can sell yourself. Don't forget, right now, before there are jobs where when you apply for, the employer goes back to your social media platforms and checks. There are things that if you're fond of just coming online and doing funny stuff, my dear, after tonight, just make up your mind to change. Be very intentional about what you put on your social media platforms. Be very intentional about what you share on your media platforms. Be very intentional about that, because there are opportunities you will lose them and you will think that, what happened? I think I was qualified for this. I think I'm up to the task, but you will not have the opportunity. Why? What you're portraying out there is different from what you think you are. Nobody's a magician to know that you are a good person from your heart. What you portray out there is definitely how you'll be regarded. So make sure after tonight, before tomorrow's session, if possible, if you have Label, if you have It's Pretty on your Facebook pages, on your Facebook page, or maybe any other social media platform, change the names. Change the names. Put your real names. Put your real name. Don't go and put It's Pretty, whereas you are maybe Kendria Boshi. When you come and say It's Pretty, you'll be like, okay, is this Kendria or is it somebody actually using my picture? And one other thing is, you have for example, a 2022 picture on your Facebook page, or maybe I'm using Facebook because it's very common with Facebook. The platform is very common. You have a 2021 picture on your Facebook page and you're applying for a job in 2023. How would that person even know you? Or maybe you want to network with somebody, inbox somebody and say, can I connect with you? And the person wants to view your profile, and the person sees a picture you took in maybe 2001, 2010, that you're asking to connect with the person in 2023. So let's update. I'll talk about that more on this in the session tomorrow, because it's going to be more of that. Because even if you don't want to learn the information when it comes to the profession, learn this other part of it. This is something that you definitely, people are paying to know them. But this, I am adding it to this because even if I teach, even if I present on every other thing and I don't mention these things, I have not helped anyone, because those are realities. There are things that are working. There are things that are actually working now. Another thing is to get involved in industry activities. Like this, the other day I was asking, WhatsApp has made it amazing where you could have other features. You can actually subscribe to channels on your WhatsApp where you can have information on daily basis. And I was like, I just asked that was on my WhatsApp status. I asked, which channels have you subscribed to? This is very important. For example, if you desire to grow in the nursing profession, you have to know what is happening in the healthcare industry, no matter how small it is. Be it a student, be it someone that is practicing, be it someone that you are still aspiring to get into the profession, you have to be 100% informed. You have to be 100% informed. What is changing? What is changing? What is new? What do I have to learn? And all of that. You can learn all of this. So you have to get involved. You have to get involved. For example, if you see maybe someone makes a post on maybe, for example, NCDs, non-communicable diseases, and you are a student, you are a practicing nurse, you are someone that is aspiring, come under the post and you comment intelligently. Say something that is getting involved. When you say something about that, people start noticing you. And when they start noticing you, think it just ends there. No, you are trying to build a little bit of credibility in your field. And when you start getting involved in industry activities, it helps you to connect with other people. For example, if you have maybe a seminar or maybe an event, if you come across an event, even if it means paying for that event to attend it, pay and attend the events, because those events you will learn a lot and you will meet people. And when you go to that event, don't just go because you paid maybe your 1,000 francs, you pay your 2,000 francs. Go there very intentional. I am registering for this event. I am going there because I want to learn this. Have a goal. Have something you're going to come back with. Don't just go like, okay, I paid 1,000, I'm going for this event. No. When you decide to go for an event, make sure you have something that you've written down that you want to achieve. That's another way of getting involved in industry activities. Get involved, no matter how small it is, get involved. Get involved, even if it means maybe if they organize maybe let's say in a community, maybe mostly in these communities where we have vaccination and all of this. Even if you are not actually doing the vaccination, just get involved with the people. Just make it, it's not like asking for too much. It's not like you're just going to dedicate all of your time and you're just focusing on career. But it's like trying to do something out of the normal. That is how you begin to strive above average. Because if you're doing everything else that everyone is doing, definitely you will remain average. So it has to be something that someone else has not done. Try doing new things. All right. So we go over to continuous learning. This especially goes to those that are practicing already. Continuous learning. That is, learning has to be every day. Every day you have to have something you are learning. For example, me, I have it like a routine. Each blessed day, I have to learn something. I have to write down something I have learned different. Be it in my profession, be it out of it. I have to learn something. That is the daily goal. It's not something like I wait till the end of the month or the end of the week. I have to learn something. So when you do it like that, what happens? It starts changing you. It starts changing your way of thinking, and it starts making you to become more confident. There is no way you can be more confident when you don't have knowledge. It's not possible. When you start having knowledge about a particular field and you know you're building expertise in that direction, it makes you to become more confident. And when you become more confident, you become more competent, because there is no way you will be competent without confidence. They almost work almost together. So continuously learn something. You could just make it up. You could just make up your mind. All right, today I'm just going to learn something about the digestive system. For those that are not really good with anatomy, okay, I'm going to learn something about the digestive system. Today I'm just going to just do something. It's very easy. Just with your mobile phone, you can learn a lot. So let's exploit those opportunities. The next one is effective communication. Effective communication. Be ready to communicate. Be ready, like I earlier said, be ready to communicate with people. Be ready to ask questions. Like, for example, in a session like this, it's okay, you ask people, you talk to people. Don't just sit quiet and you're just like, you're observing. Gone are those days where you just observe from the background. You have to be actively involved. You have to be actively involved in everything. The next is time management. I think this is one of the things that it's really killing us. We tend to maybe invest our time in things that do not really matter. So managing your time appropriately is a very, very important tool, be it as a career person, be it as a normal person. Time management. And time management goes back to planning. You don't just wake up and you give your day like, okay, whatever happens, happens. If you are working, okay, I'm working from this time to this time. I'm going to wake up from this at this time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I come back, I need to do this. When you have a plan, it's easier for you to manage your time. But if you just have like, okay, today is a new day. If I go to work, I could come back at this time. It makes it more difficult for you to manage your time, because when you have a plan for the day, it becomes your accountability partner, as I can say, because you'll definitely go back to check, okay, I've not done this, I need to do this. I've not done this, I need to do this. And one other thing that affects our time is distraction. And it goes back to screen time. you have to be self-disciplined as much as you can, because you could say, okay, this is my time to study, I want to learn something, and before you know it, you're on Google, and one thing leads to another. You find yourself on WhatsApp, or you find yourself on Facebook. It's very normal. It happens to everybody. So it requires self-discipline to be able to do what you actually want to do, not just leaving it and say, okay, I found myself in Facebook. Let me just do one or two things. Before you know it's an hour, before you know it's 2 hours already. So you have to learn the time management skill as much as you can. For the clinical skills, like we earlier said, involving in clinical rotations. And for those that are practicing, keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. Don't stop learning, keep learning. There is no day where you will get enough of everything. Keep learning. Be flexible and adaptive. This is very, 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 very important. Be flexible. Be able to unlearn some things. Be able to relearn other things. Be ready to change, like, just have this mindset where you can easily be moved from one place to another. Don't just say, okay, this is how we do it, and it remains like this. Don't say, okay, I've been doing it this way and I'll continue doing it this way. No, be ready to change something. And also to be professional, to be very professional. It doesn't matter, even if you find yourself maybe in your community, right? I'm not saying that you just be that kind of a person that doesn't smile. Even if you find yourself in a gathering, let there be something about you that someone will admire. You can be professional everywhere you find yourself, because wherever you find yourself, you are selling yourself. Be it in a meeting, be it in your church, be it in whatever place, wherever you find yourself. It's one way of selling yourself. So be professional as much as you can. Be ready to say something constructive. Be ready to say something, to do something that it is outstanding. Yeah. For example, if you find yourself like for maybe most churches, we always have the health talks and all of that. If you find yourself in that kind of a situation, be ready to contribute something. Be ready to present yourself like that person that you are. Don't wait and just say, okay, I'll just present myself like this, and maybe they will think, okay, I am a nurse, or I am in the healthcare profession, healthcare industry. Definitely, I am going to be good. I am going to be compassionate. I am going to be this. You are the one to make people know that this is who you are. And the ethics, you have to follow the professional ethics. It is well stated. You have to follow them. In as much as you want to work, in as much as you want to be the best, remember to always keep those ethics at the back of your mind. Once you start working out of them, you're doing something else, because every profession has its own ethics. Every profession has it. So know yours. Maybe for some people, once you were taught in school, you can't even remember some of them. It's good you go back and revisit those ethics, because you won't know its importance until maybe you find yourself in you find yourself in an incident where you did something out of what you were supposed to do. At that point in time, that is where you start facing the consequences, and you'll be like, all right, this is something I could easily get out of if I actually had the knowledge. So always act with your ethics at the back of your mind. Don't just do things because you think it's good. Think very, very well. Think like, this thing I'm doing, is it okay? This thing I'm about to do, is it professional? Be it in the clinical setting, be it in at homes, because I think there are people here that actually offer what we call home care. When you go to offer home care to a patient, for example, those that maybe you could have a patient where you just monitor his or her blood pressure at home, you just do the blood sugar test and all of that. Because it's out of your clinical setting doesn't make it a place where you just relax. You have to be professional. You have to do your job like, this is my job. Putting the patient at the center. That is why at the beginning we mentioned love, compassion, and care. When you have those three things at the back of your mind, there is no way you act in a way that is going to hurt the patient, or is going to make people to look down on you. All right. One other thing we have to think about is the relationship between your superpower, ethical principles, and efficiency. Yeah, that is one very, very important thing we have to discuss about. So what is your superpower? Can someone answer that? What is your superpower? What do you understand by your superpower? Just one person I will write on. What do you understand by your superpower? Okay, I think one of hand is up. Who is there? Courage, please go on. Please unmute yourself and go on.
Okay. My superpowers, I believe, are those things that I can do within me. Like, I just think of them and do them even without anybody teaching me. And those things that I am best at doing them.
Good. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Any other person? Any other person? All right, if no other person, then we write Ben. Yeah, please go on, Ben.
All right, so this is
Please unmute yourself and go on.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Perfect. So this is Asma, and while thinking about superpower, I would define it as something I excel on. Yeah, that's all I can say about superpower.
Yeah, that's actually beautiful. That's it. All right. So when you might be wondering why I included your superpower in a career like this. Everyone has that unique quality that sets you apart. Everyone has that unique quality. And one thing is when you practice with that unique quality in your mind, it spices up the way you do your job. That is a fact. Because the way you act is different from the way another person will act. That is why you see two nurses will treat a patient and the patient will be like, I want that other nurse. It's not because the nurse is a superhuman. It's because in one way or the other, either involuntarily or voluntarily, he or she is able to relate her superpower, the ethical principles and efficiency in one way or the other, because maybe at times we even act without even knowing that this is your superpower. So it's very important for you to be able to identify that key thing that makes you outstanding and different. Everyone has it. It could be your ability to be endurant. It could be your ability, that is, somebody just have the leadership skills in a way that when you get into a word, they just identify you as someone different. It could be maybe you have this, how can I put it? You have this speed, you're very fast, not like unconstructive, but very fast in the way that you easily pick up things, you easily do things, because there are people that are actually very sluggish. But with you, maybe your superpower is just your speed. So the reason why I brought this up here is because if you start practicing with your superpower, it makes you more outstanding. It makes you different because at that point in time, you are being you. You are being you. And if you're using your superpower and you are conscious of your ethical principles, definitely you become efficient because you will not even feel the burden in you. You will not feel like I'm tired. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of that because that is something that is coming from within. The energy is coming from within, right? So it's good to identify your superpower as an individual. It is good to work with it. It's good to put it into practice while learning other things. Remember what makes you outstanding, bring it out. What makes you outstanding, bring it out. For somebody, it could just be maybe the way you talk. Maybe somebody will come in and advise a patient on doing this, and the patient will not even listen. But when it's your turn, the patient just sits down and say, okay, 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 okay. You understand what I mean? That is your superpower. Try, if you do it once, do it twice, do it thrice, and it works. Just hold on to it. There's another person where maybe if you come to maybe administer a medication to a patient, the patient doesn't even want you to touch him or her. Or maybe there's another person, you come into the ward, the patient is like, I want this person to do my dressing. I want this person to do my dressing. I want this person to do this. Know that there is something about you that is different from the other person, not for you to be proud, but for you to identify it and work with it more. Because the more you work with it, you become more efficient. And when you are efficient, it helps the patient and it helps you as the individual. So one other thing, when you are able to relate your ethical principles and your superpower, it helps you to be more efficient. Because at that point in time, it's very different from the normal. You're doing something that is coming, because definitely when you're doing something where that the motivation is coming from within, it is more fulfilling and it's more easier to go on, rather than doing something where you just feel like, okay, this is my job, I'm just doing it. It's very, very different. And with that, because everything we are doing directly and indirectly, our goal is to offer the highest quality of care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you must be in a clinical setting, even back home, even in your family. Your desire should be to offer the highest quality of care as much as you can. Offer the highest quality of care. That is why whatever you are doing as a nurse, whatever you are learning, you learn for yourself first. You learn for your family first before learning for another person. It's going to help you first. Because imagine, for example, find yourself in a place where maybe even in your house where maybe your siblings or maybe your parents have a condition and you're unable to help them with that condition because you were careless or because you didn't learn it right. How will you feel? It will just be like you've not helped anyone, because they say charity begins at home. You should be able to help those that are very close to you before thinking of helping those that are very far from you. So if you're doing that with the consciousness that I am doing this for myself, I am doing this for my family before doing it for any other external person, it makes it much more beautiful. And your desire to learn more, your desire to perform at your very best becomes very, very feasible. So always have it at your back of your mind. Your desire is to provide the highest quality of care as much as you can. Like when you're at work, or maybe you are in a patient's house, it's like you're on stage. It's like you are on stage. And when you are on stage, definitely you won't want to perform your worst. You always try to do the best. So always have it like, okay, I am at work, I am in class, I am on stage, I am about to perform. And definitely you will perform well if you have that mindset. So with all of this, we all have to think about what you want. It could be what you desire to become. It could be the things you have to improve on. It could be the relationships you have to start creating now. It could be the updates you have to do on your various social media platforms. It could be the knowledge gap, identifying the knowledge gap that you have and being able to start looking for ways to fit in, especially with anatomy and physiology. I will still go back to that. Anatomy and physiology is very important. Even for a normal person that is not a healthcare professional, it is important to know your anatomy and physiology. Because most of the things that kills is not because what the services that we are about to render was wrong, or maybe the drug you want to administer is wrong. It's because of the wrong procedure. And when the procedure is wrong, it goes back to not being able to know. For example, if you want to administer maybe an IM medication, I want to use the dorsogluteal muscle. If you don't know your anatomy, how will you locate it? That's just a simple example, because you see, many people always end up with injection site abscess because of maybe the wrong injection site that was used and all of that. And you could even injure somebody's nerve. And definitely, if you know your anatomy and you know this is where it is located, you know this is what I'm supposed to do, it makes it more easier. And definitely you will perform at your best because that confidence is there. When you have the knowledge, you have that confidence. So it could be like an inspiration for you, depending on your level. It could be like a challenge for you, depending on your level. And it could be like a wake-up call for someone. But try as much as you can. It could begin this night to do something different. So before we have the session, or before we end the session and before we ask any question we have, one thing I would like us to do is, if you are in the meeting right now, and maybe you do not have your name on your media platforms, if you have 3 social media platforms you're using, update your name, update your details, let your details be up to date. And for those that don't have LinkedIn account, the other time when I was doing a 30 days marketing challenge, that was with the Phenomenal Clotilde. When I talked about LinkedIn, somebody asked me, what is LinkedIn? What is LinkedIn and all of that? And when I explain LinkedIn, people feel like maybe it's a difficult thing. It is not difficult. It's a professional platform. You don't expect to see people on WhatsApp. People on WhatsApp will definitely be those that can help you, yes, but you can go out there. There are people that you can connect with. Even if you're a student, you can still have a LinkedIn account. It's not just for professionals. Now, what will differ now is your bio or maybe your description and all of that. Create those accounts. Those are currencies in which you cannot neglect. You should not even neglect them. So before we end the session, if you have any question, please just drop it in the chat box. Oh, this is now I'm saying an answer from Brenda. What you can do best without mistakes. That is it. What you can do best without mistakes. When you do it, it makes it different. Another person, Delight, said your creative ability. Yes, your creative, it is very important to know these things. It is very, very important to identify them. Very, very important to identify them. Because definitely, I am Kendria. Let me say, for example, Delight is Delight, Brenda is Brenda. But there is something about Delight, there is something about Brenda, there is something about me that makes me different. So it's important to identify those key aspects about yourself. All right, I have a question from Courage. I'm about to study nursing. Please, is there any book on anatomy and physiology that you can recommend for me? All right, with that, there are lots of books out there. Personally, I study online, so I will definitely look out if I could see any book to be more specific, then I will send it in the WhatsApp group so that any other person that had the same worry can have an answer to that. So I will drop that in the WhatsApp group. Ben didn't get the word we should do. All right, Ben, if you didn't get me, what I said is, before we have the session of tomorrow, I want that if you have not updated your information on your social media platforms, do that before tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be, even if you want to miss, please don't miss tomorrow's session, because this has been mostly into the profession, but tomorrow we are going to go out of the box and you will start understanding some realities that maybe you were neglecting or maybe you were not aware of. So what you should do is you should go on your social media platforms and you update it. Maybe for those that do not have LinkedIn accounts, just create it and start updating it. You cannot update your LinkedIn information in a day, but keep doing something, keep adding something, keep adding. As you progress, you update. As you progress, you update. You don't have to wait until you are the best of yourself before you go in to the media and say, okay, I am this, I am that, or whatever. You keep updating. The more you get better, you keep updating. Courage asks, please, what is LinkedIn account and how can I create it? All right. LinkedIn is like any other social media platform, but it's like a very professional platform. You have to download the app. And when you download the app, then when you download the app, you install the app and you do any other setup like the other apps. Then now you can update your information. For example, like the Facebook page, you put the profile picture, you put the cover page, you update your bio and all of that, what you do, who you are. When you download the app and you go there, then you can start sending connections to people in your industry and all of that. I will still send more information about this, the LinkedIn in the group. So you first of all just download the app and you install the app and you start setting up. You will see the more it's normal, it's easy like any other app. You just have to update your details and all of that. But it's easy, but it's very, very important. It's very, very important. All right, any other question, please? Any other question? Somebody should say something. If you don't have a question, just say something you've learned, something you're going to implement today or tomorrow.
Okay, ma'am. Actually, I have learned a lot as far as positioning yourself on social media, and also the kind of things to do to be able to be exceptional in our industry. And I learned that to be exceptional, you must not think like the multitude.
Yeah.
I think that is just a few I can say for now.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Delight says, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the class. Maybe I have learned a lot. I am already in the field, but I'm lacking in the theory. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that it's good to identify your knowledge gap. It's good to identify where you have to improve on. It's very important you identify your knowledge gap, because it's like I said, personal development is a continuous process. You can't get all of it in a day. It depends on what you desire and how much you're able to start doing something. If you understand what I mean, you have to start doing something. First of all, identifying where you lack the knowledge is very important. So it's like refreshing your career, starting all over again, because the same old knowledge, the same old stuff, we know it is not going to still work in this generation and even the next time. So is it Delighted that said this? All right, Delight, if you have any other worries as to how to what theory you need to know and all of that, you can still get to me. It's fine. All right. Brenda says, thank you so much. Thank you for today's session. I have learned a lot, especially the relationship between superpower, ethical principles, and efficiency. Thank you so much, Brenda. That is very, very important. That is one of the things we neglect, but it's actually working. See, one thing is that there is no magic in becoming successful. There is no magic at all. It's all about mastery. It's all about consistency. It's all about having the right knowledge and being able to take action. The difference between you and the person you admire is their ability to master, focus, the right knowledge, consistently take steps, and that is what you have to do if you want to, if you really desire to grow, if you really desire to go out of the usual and out of the normal things that we normally know. You have to, you have to have it within you and believe that you are going to do it. All right. So any other question? Or just say something. If you don't have a question, just say something. All right, Courage says, thank you very much. I really appreciate. I have learned that I need to learn new things every day. And especially on telehealth, I need to make a deeper research on that. You just made me discover my superpower. That is very, very important. Telehealth is something, it's one of the skills. When you think of, when you do a research on the digital skills you can have today in this 2023, telehealth is one of it. It's one of it. There are people that they just focus on that, and that is their job. They don't go to maybe the clinical setting to do anything. That is their job. So one thing that limits us is when we don't have the right knowledge, when we don't have the right information. So desire to do something different, desire to learn, desire to research, let it be in your heart like a burning desire to always stay up to date in everything. I'm happy you discovered your superpower, Courage. It's good to apply it and you will see the difference. Okay. Kingsley says, thank you so much for taking our time to impact us with knowledge. It's very important. I just hope you implement, because if I impact at the end of the day and there is no implementation, it's still going to boil down to the same thing. So just pick out one thing you have to start implementing. If you have a couple of things you've written down, definitely have one that you start implementing even tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow, because when you wait till tomorrow, that burning, that desire to do it, it begins to die down. All right. Any other person? Any other person? Any other? Maybe let me see. Spranzi, are you there? Do you have something to say? Who has not said anything? Achire. I just hope I'm pronouncing the name. Just permit me if I'm not pronouncing it the right way. Brian, I think Brian said something.
Okay, we have Innocent Mokoki. Maybe he has something to say. Innocent Mokoki.
It's fine for now. We have Ashleen's iPhone. Ashleen, do you have something to say? You can just type it, yeah? Anyone else? Just say something. Like I said, don't stay quiet. It will not help you. Just say, if you have any worry, drop it. Nobody's going to kill you because you asked a question or you didn't understand something. Anyone else?
Okay, ask my Ben wants to say something.
Sorry?
Ben wants to say something.
All right, Ben, go on. Sorry, I didn't check.
It's all right. So hey again, and I just want to thank you, dear, for the informative session. It was very informative for me. I learned many things, especially you're insisting on the professional side, like networking and setting professional accounts, be it LinkedIn or Facebook. As I want actually add one small remark, which is it would be great if you gave us like some examples, especially when we were talking about ethical principles. Yeah, I think I would understood them more if there were any examples.
All right, okay. Like I want to know, are you already practicing or are you still a student or you're still getting into the profession?
So this is my last year as a nursing student.
All
I'm a
right,
student
okay.
in Morocco.
All right, okay, okay, noted. All right. Okay, so when I'll come back to you, Achire. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name well. All right, when you talk about the ethical principles, it is very specific to the nursing profession. We have um we have the first, which is autonomy. That is one of the principles. And let me just give, maybe if I'm calling it just the names, you won't be very much clear. But let me just say what it says. For example, you have the duty to do no harm to the patient. That is one of it. The next one, you have to perform at the patient's best interest, like the patient is at the center of that care that you're offering. The other one is fidelity. You have to be truthful. You have to be real to the patient. The other one is justice, like you have to, that is at every point in time, you have to do the right thing. You have to do the right thing. It's not like you choose what to do right. You have to be truthful at every point in time. You have to say, that is, for example, one of the things is if you do something to the patient that is wrong, you have to opt and tell the patient, I did this thing that is wrong. I am sorry about this. We have veracity. So those are the, I would still send like a rundown of all of it in the groups so that everyone has it. So those principles are very important. It surrounds our profession. So there is no way if you don't have a mastery of those principles, what happens is you will do something and you'll get yourself into trouble because you do not actually master principles. So I will still send, when I'm sending the rundown, the notes in the group, I will send the principles in it. I have noted 2 things. The first thing is how to create the LinkedIn account, now the ethical principles, and also one other thing was the anatomy and physiology, something like that. Yeah, if I'm not forgetting, those 3 things, I'm going to drop it in the group. All right. Did I answer your question, Ben? If not, just let me know.
No, perfect. Thank you, dear.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
still send a detail of all of it to you in the group. All right. I have Sherry. A big thanks. Hoping this platform will be of great help to us all, and of course, make a change as we aspire getting into the nursing profession. Yes, it will be. Like I said, network with people. It's okay when you go, before you end the session today, just look out those that are in the group. You could just PV them and ask, all right, I am this, I am, introduce yourself properly and be like, can we connect? It's fine, it's good. If they say yes, you go on. Because the more you connect with people, the more you network with people, the more you know them, the more you learn from them. Because there are some things that we don't know, but by networking with some people, you definitely will learn those. All right. To be focusing, because if we keep teaching just the profession, and we don't go to say other things that are related to the profession, it's going to be difficult. It's just going to be like doing the same old stuff. So be ready to learn something tomorrow. That is be ready to learn something that will change, and not just learning, be ready to implement whatever you've learned. All right. If there is no other question or no other thing to say, please, I'm just going to drop a link, a Facebook link. You just, please, I just wanted to drop a review. Maybe it could be what you've learned in the session today, or anything you want to say about the session of today. I'll just drop the link in the group. I just just finished day 1 training. Please just drop a review under the post. Thank you. All right, if there is no other thing to say and no one else has a worry, then we can call it a day. And in case you have any other worry, don't hesitate to come inbox and tell me, or you want to ask another question or whatever, don't hesitate to come inbox and ask, or maybe in the group. If you don't feel comfortable, drop it in the group. You can always PV me. Whenever I see your message, I'll definitely reply. All right. Okay. Thank you all for today. I've just dropped the message on Facebook. It's just finished day 1 training. Yeah, please just help me with to drop a review on it. And that's it for today. So tomorrow, same time, we are using the same link that was sent to the group to join the meeting. All right. Ashleen says, thank you. It was a great one today. You are welcome, Ashleen. See you tomorrow. All right. Good night, everyone. It's okay to unmute and say good night.
Good night.
Good night now.